Hold on. Hi. Hello. Well, normally when I watch a shoe and head video, I don't really care to, mention it or stuff like that. They seem to be uneventful, you know. It's just her taking things. The it's basically her straw manning things. Simplifying something very holistic and deducing, a situation. But let me figure out what the microphone is. Okay, there's a microphone. So basically, I am kind of, weirded out a little bit by shoe and politics. Like she's a left leaning Republican. Not no, she's not Republican. She's just edgy. That's literally her political party. She likes to be dissident, which is okay. But you can't read between the lines. Either that or she's grifting. I don't think she's grifting. Because Asmongold does grift at a dogmatic level. He knows what he's saying is not true, but he doesn't care. He just wants a sense of authority, because it's skinny, 0 out of 10. Doesn't wash his teeth, doesn't bathe, doesn't smell good. His house is like garbage. No parents, no family. Weak friend group. You can understand why someone becomes hateful in those situations. That's just human nature. But I'm not saying like, oh, if that happens to you, you're gonna become that. But I'm just saying, he's coping. The whole thing, his whole grift is not. I don't think it's about money. He does make a lot of money out of it, but I think it's just him coping. Okay, I made this video specifically because I was like, at the first like half of this video, I was like, okay, you're like, your faith in politicians. Wow, that's like the boy sheep, dude. She believes AOC is independent because she's a no APAC candidate, bro. Everybody knows that Shewanhad's political opinions are fraudulent. But it kind of makes sense that she's an AOC fangirl. Dude, if you don't think AOC is part of the establishment, you're an idiot. Same with Bernie Sanders. Same with Thomas Massey. Same with Major Sarah Green. You could say whatever you want, but Major Taylor Green and Thomas Massey, they pushed back until a certain point, and then they folded. Are they part of the psyop? I don't know, but they were complicit even if they weren't threatened. You see what I'm understanding? But they do pull their weight around. And I think both of them are genuine. I don't think there's a single congressman who's not influenced by the military complex. That's just not how it works. But yeah, I can't believe this, for better of lack of word, this dumb plebeian. I was gonna say bitch, but plebeian seems funnier. This plebeian believes in the words of politicians and believes politicians are not actors. She thinks she could change a politician's mind with logic. That's not how it works. You should know that's not how it works. Another reason why I'm making this video is that bizarrely, she's being very positive about the Democratic Party. Her only complaint is identity politics, and that's kind of insane. It's obviously not her only problem with it, but she lists the problems, and that's just the biggest one for her. I'm like, there's a lot more bigger problems in the Democratic Party than than identity problems. First of all, how come she doesn't call out the Republicans using identity politics? Well, I think I know why. Because the right uses identity politics, but the left, not the left, the Democratic establishment, they use racial grievances, but like at the end of the day, a person can have their own opinion. I don't think you can uniform the Democratic Party ever. That's just not how it works. As I was saying, her problem with identity politics is not identity politics. Is that the thought of her being sorry for being white, which that just never happened. Only a few SJWs and politicians who are grifting, and she doesn't realize that it's a lot of the political sphere is inorganic. For example, you think Tucker Carlson is organic? Do you think Fox News is organic? Do you think ABC News is organic? Do you think NBC is organic? Do you think BBC's is organic? Do you think Congress is organic? Do you think APAC Tracker is organic? Because if you do, you're a goy. You're straight up a goy. You can't think for yourself. You can't think like how these people are going to manipulate you. It's easy when you think about it. As I was saying, I'm making this video because it surprised me. She won't having a positive take on the left is kind of weird to the point that like she's kind of roasting the right. This is like one of the problems of political loss of sovereignty. Both Democrats and Republicans don't work for the American people. That's just not how it works. The reason why the Democratic Party was so convoluted in these identity politics to begin with was that they didn't want to solve, bigger problems like healthcare, education funding, what's it called? Medical care, yeah, I already said that. Transportation, bridges, trains, food banks, veteran safety net. They did not want to address that. So what they did was they jiggled some keys, which was identity politics, who had a little bit of semblance to left-leaning politics, and ran with it. As you know, I remember Woke One, and Woke One immediately felt like it was hijacked. Woke One was started by black activists, and I remember because I was there. So black people were saying that you got to wake yourself of the social injustice. That's where they came from, of policing and the identity politics, misusing and mistreating the people of color in the United States. That's where the term woke comes from. It comes from the realization of the social system, the awakening yourself to be woken up to, of a systematic injustice. That's where the terms come from. And I could say all the things that she's misusing terms of it. Honestly, I was kind of like a no lifer. And back then, I was just really interested in politics. And when I mean interested in politics, I was just curious. And I think she misidentifies what wokeism, leftism, SJW, social justice warriors, to the prop of the right wing narrative, the right narrative, the right wing narrative, slander against the leftists. That doesn't mean that it's all roses and petals. I'm just saying there is a lot of psyops going on with the identity of leftism and with the beliefs of leftism, especially during to the opposition, during to the government's opposition to leftism. You have to think of that. The government is very, very against the values of left leaning ideas, you know, and they put a lot of effort against it. And if you don't think they're running psyops to slander the identity of leftism, then you have no idea. For example, they hijacked the term fatigue, black fatigue. But I remember black fatigue when it was only talking about being fatigued as a black person in the American system. That's where the term comes from. But it got reversed, after that by slander, pushed by an algorithm that is sponsored by the state. And you got to think of that. You got to think of those little connections. It doesn't mean that the left is not doing psyops themselves, but the psyops are more intricate. They're more difficult to decipher, and they're more with the benefit of the doubt. And that's how they do their psyops. That's how they do the Palestine shit. For example, the left media, for example, NBC, CNN was a right wing system, but they criticized Trump in the first election cycle. And did that make them think that CNN was left leaning? The CNN was not left leaning at all. See, CNN was right leaning with a little bit of centrism, which means it just had a little holdback of dissidence within it. And I don't understand how people fall for these psyops. Like, come on, bro. Come on, bro. You are an adult. You should know better. But yeah, Sean Head was very positive about the left leaning shit. That many people would agree with him if they had less grievances. And I'm just gonna say this: there's no grievances. White people don't have to feel bad for stuff that other white people did. Same as with black people. Black people don't have to feel bad for what other black people did. But this argument of semantics that the right wing participates in because they're coping. I lost a lot of respect for the right wing in the second Trump presidency because they're straight up fake demons. They're embarrassed, frustrated losers that believe that they deserve more. That is their whole identity. Because the right wing doesn't hate the left. Like, when I say that, I'm saying like it doesn't really care to like stop any of left wing territory. Either that or like they're stupid. Like they're really, really dumb. And they don't understand how to stop it or how to prevent it. Because more people, people thought people were going to become more right wing. That was true in like the first 3 months. But after that, man, they got castrated, bro. I've never seen this. I've never seen such like a mad, uncontrollable dog be pacified to such an extent. The right wing right now is such a joke. It's such a joke. They're not traditionalists. They don't conserve anything. The right wing memers are getting out memed now, not by quantity, but by just getting ratioed every time in a right wing platform. What? What the fuck's going on? And they're right wing dissidents. It imploded. Dude, Charlie Kirk, when Charlie Kirk died, Charlie Kirk took out everyone else with him, bro. The right wing just blew up, bro. It was like 9/11. It's like Charlie Kirk was the plane that hit the tower, but you couldn't believe that the tower would also fall. But that's exactly what happened. Holy shit. And of course, Israel did that as well. Good comparison. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I just made this video because I can't believe that Sean Head is complimenting the left. Like, come on, bro. Come on, bro. You know, the left hates the left, and they're still left because we are. That's the meaning of being progressive. You gotta be a perfectionist, and you gotta be better every time. It's a stairway to heaven type of thing. But that's it. I'm in the video. I was just kind of shocked about Sean Head, but I'm kind of a little disappointed to know that she has no hatred in her heart, in her little heart, because her tweets make. Now that I'm realizing, I think all her tweets and all her media, it's very what's it called, facious? No, not facious. Um, I'm trying to think of the term where you're acting out a play. Fictitious? No. Farce. There we go. She's very farce. And people who are farce, and it kind of makes sense because she's a very shy and dweeb, basically. She's kind of huddled, and I think this type of farce is a way to make her comfortable. Is not necessarily what she believes in. So there's a little layer to the mask. That's all I'm gonna say. Well, this is what I came out of this video understanding, because I used to think she did actually dislike the left, but now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, what the fuck? You don't even hate us because the left. Um, does the left contain hatred for people? No. Their sphere of karmic values is huge. Same with what we give empathy. But I just think that the dark woke, for example, dark woke is just getting spit on and then spitting back. That's literally it. It's just shit talking. But she couldn't understand that. She thinks it's about being mean. No, 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 no. It's about regurgitating what the other person is saying and spitting on them back. That's all it has to do. It has to do with disrespect. It has to do with basically begging. What's it called? Giving what's it called? What's it called? Basically, strong manning the right, because we have been doing that pretty successful. Like, I couldn't believe my eyes when I see like right wingers reposting leftist memes or leftist agendas. I'm like, what? What the fuck? You guys were standing up against us with like a wall from like World War Z. At the end of the day, you end up agreeing with us. I'm like, I'm kind of happy that you understand now, but this is pathetic. This is what I mean. They have no hatred. If they have hatred, they would never yield. But people like Asmongold are yielding. Everyone is yielding. Tectone, everyone is yielding. Fucking even the chimp guy, Chud the chimp, Chud the chimp, Chud the chimp. He yielded and said, "Oh, I don't believe in racism." What the fuck? Same with Nick Fuentes. Oh, I believe in socialism. I believe in communism. What the fuck are you saying? Why are you saying? Why are you fighting with us then? And we believe all of our values. This makes no sense to me. Like, what the fuck? What? What are you fighting about? And that's what have to understand. For them to yield to our ideas is ego death. Because I think leftism does attack American identity because it attacks American patriotism and says it's brainwashing. But now we have Ryan saying, "Oh, I regret being a Navy SEAL," and everybody's agreeing with it. Everybody is pushing to the left, and no one is. There is no response from the right because they never hated us. They just felt embarrassed, castrated, and weak because of our ideas. It demasculinized them without touching them. That sounded weird. My point is that it wasn't physical; it was a mental battle, and they felt demasculized. They felt that they weren't strong men because of our ideas, or if our ideas were real, it would mean that they were not men enough. And now people like Ryan saying, "Oh, I don't like being an able. I regret being an Navy SEAL," and a ton of other people saying they regret their service who are right wingers. That's the important part. They are emerging to our left leaning values, and they're literally calling themselves the awakened. They woken up to, but not like woke. But they literally said, I have a screenshot of a right winger saying, my eyes have woken up to. I'm woke now, but not like woke like the left, because the left does woke wrong. But that's the whole point. The leftism is a philosophy, not just a political opinion. That's what you have to understand. It's commonalities, whatever, dharma, whatever you want to call it. And I'm kind of shocked because every day these right wingers they bitch out, pussy out, and backpedal and start agreeing with us. Like, what the fuck? Why did we fight? Because you're stupid. But that's really the reason. Come on, bro. And they don't even want to apologize. They just want to brush it aside. Hey, let's get over this. We don't have to say sorry again. It's with the ego death shit. It's cowardly. They don't like to be seen as weak. They don't like feeling weak because it makes them really uncomfortable. Ciao.